Okay, so now on to step 4. And by the way, there are 5 steps, so we're in the home stretch. So we're going to go ahead and create another Polyduco box or polynomial division with an area model. This time using our answer from the top row in the last step, this x cubed minus 2x squared minus 3x plus 6, and the other factor from step 2, the one we didn't use yet, the x minus 2. If you had used the x minus 2 first, you would be using the x plus 1 now. But we already used the x plus 1, so we're going to use x minus 2. So here's my Polyducal box. I have x minus 2 on the left. This time I have the x cubed part down at the bottom. There are 4 terms, so I have 4 columns. The x cubed goes into the middle again. And again, I need to find what on top would be, what times x would give me x cubed. So this would be x squared. Take that times the bottom and get negative 2x squared. We have to figure out what goes in this box here. So what in this box plus negative 2x squared will give me negative 2x squared? 0. So 0's here. So what times x gives me 0? 0. And 0 times negative 2 is 0. So lots of zeros right there. Looks a little funny, but that can happen sometimes in these Polyducal boxes. So now I need this spot right here. Plus 0 is negative 3x, so this will be negative 3x. What times x is negative 3x? Negative 3. And negative 3 times negative 2 is 6. So again, this is matching up really nicely. We have no remainders. So I'm going to rewrite all of my factors so far. The x plus 1 that we used before. And then this factor right here, this big long x cubed one, turned into these two on the side. Turned into x minus 2 and x squared minus 3. Notice that I took the 0 out. We don't need it. So these 3 factors, if I multiplied them all together, would get me back to that x to the 4th polynomial we had in the beginning. So last step. Now that we have each of our factors, we can go ahead and set each part equal to 0. So starting with x plus 1 equals 0. Move my 1 over, I get negative 1. Work with x minus 2, I move the negative 2 over, I get 2. And finally, x squared minus 3 equals 0. I move my negative 3 over, I get 3. I have to get rid of the squaring, so I square root. Whenever I introduce a square root, I also introduce the plus minus. So x is going to equal plus or minus square root 3. Typically, you would leave your answer like this, but because we're dealing with Schoology and the square root and all of that's kind of hard to type, we're going to go ahead and round today. We're going to round to the hundredths here, so 2 decimal places. So x equals plus or minus 1.73. Also in Schoology, I'm going to ask you to list all of the factors. So we have 4 of them here. And we're going to list them in lowest to highest order. So you got to think about being farthest left on the number line. So that will be negative 1.73 first, followed by a comma. Negative 1 will be next, followed by another comma. Positive 1.73 would be after that. And finally, 2 would be farthest to the right. So all of the roots for x to the 4th minus x cubed minus 5x squared plus 3x plus 6 are listed down here below. That's going to be it for today. There is no you try. The quiz today is going to walk you through all of these steps one by one on another problem, and that will be it for what we're going to do today. And then we'll practice more of this going forward. So that's it. Have a good weekend. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.